clock, and I just grounded out to end the inning. But we're up 4-0, so we're good. Titans back on the clock after having traded back with the Packers earlier. I want to read off really quickly the top wide receivers left on the board because I feel like where the Titans need to go. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tylan Wallace, I think he actually just came off the board. K. Johnson, Cornell Powell, Shai Smith. I can pronounce that name. Top tight ends, Brevin Jordan. Kyle keeps talking about that guy. Let's get Kyle on the phone if we can, see what he has to say about what's going on. I personally feel like J-Rob has butchered this draft. Hopefully Kyle can talk me off the ledge. We'll see what happens.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, we're on the clock. What do you think's happening?
I don't know. They've been pretty unpredictable so far. I'd like to say I don't know that any of the wide receivers left are meant to go this high. I don't know. I thought maybe they'd go Anthony Schwartz, but he just got picked. So
I will say I once drafted Amon St. Ra, or whatever that guy's name is, on Madden, and he turned out to be a pretty good player. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, he's a good tall. He'd be a good number 2, and that leaves us with getting maybe one of these, the K. Johnson or Shai.
And we took a linebacker.
No, we didn't.
Monty Rice, linebacker out of Georgia.
Who?
I don't know.
I'm getting off the phone. I'm pissed.
I'll call you back at pick 100. And we lost Kyle. Holy crap. What is happening right now? I need Shohei Ohtani to do some work for me on the Braves to get me out of this funk, because the Braves sucked in real life. The Titans draft, it feels like a disaster. I don't know what they're doing right now.
Looking for back-to-back Ks to start the game. And now a ball hit.
And I just gave up a home run. So, of course, everything is going splendidly. We took a FCS tackle in the second round. A linebacker.
Down the line in right. Home run number 2 for him on the year. As they get on the board, it's 4-1 now.
These little shots they do of the draft rooms, everybody's fist bumping so happy, like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. Like, or is anybody ever gonna be like, I guess we'll take this douchebag here. No, it's the stupidest thing in the world. So here's what I think happened. Could be completely wrong on this. I have no sources. This is just, I don't think J-Rob anticipated. Okay, Ollie's joined us. I don't think J-Rob anticipated the run on. Gosh, the run on wide receivers, tight ends, those skill positions that was going to come in the second, third round between our second pick and our third pick. Whoever they liked was clearly gone by the time they got to us at 85. Clearly didn't like that Clemson wide receiver that Green Bay took with our pick. Bailed out. I don't know. It's crazy to me that we haven't taken a wide receiver yet, because we don't have a number 2 wide receiver on the roster. I mean, I felt like we had multiple people who could be penciled in as starting right tackles. We took a tackle from an FCS school who looks like he's tiny. It might not even actually be a tackle. And we passed on basically every wide receiver on the board. Kind of wild. Kind of wild. Don't agree with the decision making.
At the plate now, Brian Anderson. Could have been 3-1.
I mean,
instead it's 2-2.
Offered at that breaking ball below the zone, and that's a tough one to spit on. But the key is
look at what's happening in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is trying to jump ship. He's got freaking Devontae Adams.
More likely to be a hanger when that's the case.
Tannehill's. What could he possibly be thinking right now seeing this draft? We got another pick coming up. Pick 100 about 6-7 picks away. I'm going to stay on until that pick. Kyle just texted me, poor Will.
Strike three
I think
called
that's
as he
a
can't
sign.
get the bat off
The
his
final nail in
shoulder.
the coffin.
Side
Will Compton will
retired.
not be back with the Titans this year. Sucks, you know,
Marlins
but
get one back thanks to the solo home
Will
run.
Compton's one of those players who's in one of those weird spots where he's not going to be a
It's
starter.
Braves 4, and the Marlins
Veteran
1.
minimum's probably too high to keep him on the roster. It's just a special teams player, so
Second inning set
makes
to
more
go,
sense to load that up with cheaper rookies than with him. So,
Ronald Acuna.
unfortunate for him. I love him. You know, he's probably got a long career ahead of him in media, so maybe the best for him to kind of be pushed into that now rather than later.
A ball and 2 strikes now.
Oh, man, these picks are crazy. Not happy. I mean,
1-2.
why are we even taking a linebacker? We re-signed Jayon Brown. We've got Rashawn Evans for at least another year. So we're, you know, got David Long. We're pretty well covered at linebacker.
Got him swinging.
And we have basically no wide receivers. I'm just swinging at whatever. I'm not even paying
And he
attention
makes
on
the throw to
playing
first.
baseball and trying to talk about the Titans.
Retired, and there's one away.
Not crazy about this draft. Had a lot of high hopes going in. Seemed to be in pretty solid positions with 2/3, a second and a first, and kind of that decent range. I was pretty on board with the Caleb Farley pick in the first round, you know. Very similar to the Jeffrey Simmons situation where we took a swing on a player coming off an injury. That worked out really well for us so far. I feel like J-Rob knows what he's talking about on those, but now look at what we've done since then. Now that one feels a little more sour than it did before. I don't know. Feels like it's all stay in, stay in, stay in, stay in. That's what I'm talking about. Home run. Freddie Freeman. Feels like it's going very poorly. I'm not happy with the Titans draft right now. If you're watching, if you're a Titans fan, let me know what you think. Let's see if you can see this one.
Hey, that's the price you pay right there when you try and sneak a fastball past this guy. Power hitter, and every power hitter in the league knows you got to start with the numero uno.
He knows, but I mean, I would venture to bet that Will Compton is going to make far more money off busting with the boys than he ever made as an NFL player, so he's doing just fine. But he's a player. He likes to play. He wants to be out there. He wants to play, so sure he'll find an opportunity somewhere. Oh, man. This draft is not great. Not happy with it at all.
Softly to second. Barehanded at his knees. And give it up.
If I was Tannehill, I would demand a trade. I would go Aaron Rodgers style and demand a trade. I'm going to tell Kyle that, see what Kyle says.
Add on one more as the solo shot stretches their lead even further. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's the Braves 5 and the Marlins 1.
See what Kyle says.
And now, Isan Diaz. Set to lead off the home half of the second.
Kyle said he would, so we might lose Tannehill. He might just demand a trade because we are currently drafting backups for the defense and offense. We're going to have Josh Reynolds as his second best wide receiver. Yes, Kyle just texted me. I don't know how we can get better at tight end and wide receiver now. We suck. I agree, Kyle. Feels like all the potential impact players that could have come in and maybe immediately helped are gone. Everybody else that's left is maybe projects or just depth players at best.
Here it comes on 1-1.
I mean, I wasn't that worried about tight end. Obviously, we don't have any like game changer impact players at that position right now, but I think Berkshire's solid. I think Swain's solid. I think we had solid players who could get by with at that position. Wide receivers where I really felt coming into this, we had to get a player who could really do something for us because, I mean, as it stands right now, teams can basically like quadruple cover A.J. Brown. Like, I'm not even covering any of the other receivers we have right now because they're just nothing.
Every game is more important. The bigger the game, hopefully the better you play.
Now, I will say,
really good
a while back, there were some rumblings coming out of people who know things close to the team that
In now, Jorge Alfaro.
They were pretty content with the in-house receivers they had. If they had opportunities to improve, they would look at it, but they weren't in a hurry to improve that. I disagree with that. I don't think the receivers they have in-house are great outside of A.J. Brown. They've all been there and have not done anything. Proofs in the pudding on the field. Hasn't worked out well.
If you're going to go down 1-2-3, at least
there's a reason I don't get paid a lot of money to build an NFL roster. Because I didn't start early enough in my career. No, it's because probably those guys are probably smarter than me at that type of stuff.
Sights a little lower right there. That pitch was able to get by him. His swing was just a little under that one.
I would like to believe that maybe the reason seem adverse to drafting skill position players maybe is because they have an inkling that maybe they're going to get into the mix to get Julio Jones.
Welcome back. Here's Heidi Watney with a report as we get set for the top of the
did say on our draft preview / off-season review vlog that I felt if we did get Julio Jones, that was an indication that he still had a lot in the tank, that he was still good to go. I was hoping that Arthur Smith had a loyalty to the Titans, respect for them, would not trade us somebody who was broken down, beaten up, and dead. Kyle did point out, though, that at this point in time, Arthur Smith probably hasn't got to work with Julio Jones, so he would actually know that. I don't know. I think I'm just grasping at straws at this point in time because I hate what we've done so far in the draft so much. Big swing!
Hit high in the air down the right field line. Long run for the right fielder, and he tracks it down. Nice play for the first out. Here's the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. Here now the 2-2. Lifted in the air out towards
the guy I mentioned while I was on the phone with Kyle, Aaron, whatever his name is, St. Brown, he's still on the board. I don't know, maybe we snag him. Like I said, I have drafted him in a Madden franchise before. He's trying to pick 3 solid players for me in that franchise. So, if Madden is a good way to determine who's going to be good players and how to build a roster, then so foul ball.
Super important situation right here for the pitcher to go 1-2-3. Get back in the dugout, regroup. He struggled early, but if he can knock out this 1-2-3 inning, I think he can right the ship.
Bases are empty here with 2 men out.
I tweeted out. I'm gonna do visual meeting here. I tweeted out earlier. That kid who looks like his head's about to explode. That's J-Rob. Until he gets the draft tackle.
Down in order go the Braves.
Shocked he didn't do the first round. I thought, okay, he's got it out of his system. The Isaiah Wilson thing broke him. You know, we signed a guy from Cleveland. We still have Sambrillo and Quisenberry. He's holding down the fort for offensive tackles. He's good. Second round, nope. FCS offensive tackle who... I don't know. Not a great draft, in my opinion.
And this is swung on and
Not
missed. 5 quick strikeouts now, and that's your first out of the inning.
Well, I have to give credit to him on the mound for not letting that previous pitch get to him. He wanted it, but he didn't get the call.
My wife is surprisingly more into the draft than I thought she was. She loves the videos. And this is something that has probably gotten bigger in the last year or so, where less players are going to the actual draft.
No offer on that one.
And there's more of the home videos with COVID and stuff like that, where she really likes it when the families react and they get so excited that their son, brother, boyfriend, husband got drafted in the NFL, and that's kind of cool. I mean, that is a kind of cool moment, you know. I think for the most part, most of them know. You know, there are some that drop. There's the famous Aaron Rodgers, he fell so low. He was actually there, but it's kind of cool for those people, especially because, some of them come from backgrounds that are troubled. They get that special moment where they get that moment. They know they're going to the NFL. They know they're going to get a nice payday. It's pretty cool. But we were watching the draft together last night, and she was...
Yeah, and kind of shocked he got blown away with a fastball. You can tell he was late on that one. And we'll see if he tries to cheat to something.
Kyle just texted me. Latest update from Kyle. If we don't... Okay, I'm going to read exactly what he wrote. We don't pick WR or TE next, I will effing riot. I tend to agree.
Here now the 2-2.
I don't know that anybody left is actually somebody that's going to make a difference, but I mean, how can we not? How can we not? I can't believe you took a linebacker. I cannot believe you just took a linebacker. That is... I mean, we knew J-Rob was going to have to take a tackle. He was going to take a tackle. I'm surprised he didn't take one in the first round.
All set for the start of the
defensive lineman of some sort in that range. I wouldn't have been a linebacker, like an inside linebacker. Like,
here's the pitch. Soft liner towards short. And
certainly doesn't bode well for Sean Bateman. He's not got a guaranteed contract deal next year. John Brown's deal was essentially a one-year deal. So I mean,
road to the show report as you see a couple of players in the upper levels of the minors that have been making waves as of late.
We're supposedly a team that feels like it's in the Super Bowl window. That's not why you're taking. You're not drafting inside linebackers for the future. If you're in your Super Bowl window, you're drafting players who can help you win a Super Bowl right here, right now. And I don't think we've done that at all in this draft. Farley, maybe, if he recovers from his injury, he can make an impact. The tackle, I don't even know if he's going to be a starter. All the videos they showed him, he was a left tackle. So he could potentially take over, be the right tackle for a couple of years, maybe switch to left when the long's gone. I mentioned on the call with Kyle, that's what Michael Ruse did when he first came in. He was left tackle. Played right until Hopkins left and then moved to the left, so that's a possibility, but I mean, it's not a guarantee. I mean, I feel like we signed the Cleveland guy to be our starter. So the team's like desperate for help in the immediate starting lineup so far, in my opinion. Might not have got a single new starter in the draft, which is terrible. Farley might not be ready to play. The tackle guy, I can't remember his name, might be a backup. Linebacker's almost definitely a backup. I don't see him. Evans didn't have a great year last year. Brown got hurt. But I don't really see him being a starter. I mean,
bottom of the inning now.
Trouble is what I would say this draft was. Like, last year was obviously a disaster for J-Rob. This was his chance to bounce back. And you never know until they get on the field and actually see what they can do. But on paper, based on what we know of these picks so far, based on what we know of the team we have so far, not a great draft.
This is on the ground over the first. And he'll take it to the bag himself for the out. So two are gone now in the Miami fourth. And that'll bring up the outfielder Brian Anderson. Swing and he pops
I do feel what we saw from the team yesterday. That definitely seems like they really do like Farley. Like he was somebody they really were hoping was going to be available for them in the first round. So that gives me confidence. Like I said, J-Rob took the leap on Simmons coming off an ACL 2 years ago. Paid off. But in terms of like trusting that the player's healthy, trusting that the player's going to be able to bounce back, I feel confident that they can do that. I mean, our medical department obviously felt good about Simmons, so if they feel good about Farley, I feel good about that. And all the reports are he's talent-wise top 10. Top 10 players, but it's a health concern, so I felt a lot better about him until today. The picks today just suck so bad it makes me think that might be a bad pick. Like, I thought it was not a great pick, but I thought it was a perfectly fine pick. The picks today have been so bad that now I'm like second guessing that. I'm like, maybe Farley was a mistake too. One thing I will say for J-Rob with this draft, is that going to go? You got a home run? Yes, sir. You know what this means. That's Freddie Freeman right there. We're picking in arguably the worst range in the draft this year. That 20-ish range that we're picking in, about the 21st, 22nd pick in each round, it's the worst possible place to pick because you're just outside of where you're probably going to be getting a
Second home
guaranteed
run of the
good
game
player.
right there. He is locked in at the plate. You hear so many of today's
But you're
players
not.
talk about
You're
rhythm
still in
and
range where
timing. Well, he is
you weren't good
perfectly
enough the year
on
before, so
time
you're
in the
expecting
heart
a
of
player
the
to come
zone.
in and make an immediate impact. Like the Bucks, the Chiefs, those teams that are picking after us, they're picking players that are just like supplemental, like hopefully come in and make an impact. If not, they're pretty stacked as it is, and they keep going. We need to be making players, pick players who can come in and really turn things around, take us to that next level. Hard to do in that 20 range because it's kind of a crapshoot with who's left in that 20, 21, 22 range. So I was kind of hoping we would have maybe traded up in the first round, maybe like try to put some of the extra picks they had together to get up and get a more of a guaranteed person there. But the indications are they felt really good about Farley. I was hoping today with the extra third round pick we had, we maybe would have pushed up in the second round and tried to get somebody like an Elijah Moore. He went off the board, almost immediately. So that came off the table and wasn't even an issue at a certain point in time. So.
Swing and a miss, so the NL's leading hitter is set down on
Certainly,
strikes, and there are 2 gone. There's a look at the final
certainly has not gone the way I would have hoped today, this draft.
Not what he had in mind before the day started.
2 picks away from the last pick of the day for the Titans. I'll try to get Kyle back on the line for that one. Man, we need something. I don't know. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just because I know that name because I drafted him once on Madden.
Swing and a high fly ball out to left field. And it's gone as they add still another.
At least my stupid faked Braves video game team is doing well. The real Braves suck tonight. And the real Titans suck tonight. But Foley's here. And that's always a good thing.
Well, they've got the elevate and celebrate thing working in this one, guys. That was their 4th big fly of the game.
Matty V, D-Row, I don't know what you think, but this is like crazy. 4th round tripper of the game so far.
They're missing over the heart of the plate, not using the quadrants. In the hitters meeting, they focused on this stuff. They thought these guys could miss middle, and that's exactly what's happening.
That's a tough pitch for a batter. If you're not expecting it, you'll end up with half a bat after you swing.
2 balls and 2 strikes now to the Braves catcher.
Right, Quinn Miners just had the least excited moment of anybody that's been drafted so far in terms of his family. They all were staring at the TV, and he casually just put on the Broncos hat like, all right, here we go. Been drafted by the Broncos. So. His reaction to being drafted by the Broncos was less enthusiastic than my reaction to anybody the Titans have drafted so far.
Matt, during the commercial break, I had a chance to catch up with manager Don Mattingly about the Marlins' offensive production, and he told me he feels like they're being too patient at the plate right now. Too much of the time they're finding themselves in disadvantage counts like 0-2 and 1-2, and that's basically...
Oli, what do you think the Titans should do with their next pick?
He said they're getting a lot of strikes.
Give us a pick, Oli.
Emphasis the rest of the game has to be to jump on those strikes.
He said, I'm on St. Rob Brown. I can't remember that guy's name. I've said it like 10 times, and I've said it wrong every time, so... Cowboys pick is in as soon as they announce it. I'm going to call Kyle. We have yet to get any cussing from Kyle tonight. I fully expected him to cuss since we're live and I can't edit it, but he's been on his best behavior so far, but no telling what's going to happen if the Titans don't take it. Actually, he might have cussed him last one. I don't know. If we don't take a wide receiver, or at least a tight end, I fully expect Kyle to have a full-on breakdown, which will be great. Pump up the views with the live breakdown. That's what we were looking for. Will you chill? Goodness.
Tried to hold up there.
Oh, bad call on. He definitely went. Definitely went around on that one up. Oh, now they're excited. Somehow they must have not known that it happened earlier. We must have not known what was going on earlier. Because earlier he put on the Broncos hat and his family was just sitting on the couch like, okay, what just happened? And even he didn't look that excited, but I don't know.
Swing and a miss on the fastball that time, out number 2.
He's just ringing up
These live stream deals are kind of weird
What's really
sometimes.
impressive to me, he hasn't walked anyone either. He's just pounding the zone. His stuff is dirty today.
Roger Goodell chair thing being on stage is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Would have been like an interesting gimmick, like if they just did it like on as like a I remember this last year thing for like the first pick, but the fact that they've still got it there and they're still like I guess it's cool to like try to get the fans involved, but so stupid at this point in time that they're still doing it. They're still like
Ready now is Austin Riley. He was sent packing on strikes in his last trip.
Yeah, Matty, and he was locked up by a good fastball for strike 3 last time. I'm interested to see if they attack him the same way. Come at him with hard velo late or snap something off in the dirt to see if he'll fish.
The 1-1.
Count 1 and 2.
oh! Ball. All right, Titans are on the clock.
This guy's arsenal.
Let's see if we can get Kyle back in for one more time.
A lot of different directions he could go in right here.
And he takes strike 3 called on the fastball. 1 gone.
I like how he worked him backwards for the strike out there. He wasn't showing the fastball.
All right, we're on the clock.
But then went back to
What's happening? Are we gonna get a what do you think, guard?
Yeah, obviously, I think our strategy this year is to not draft anybody that catches the ball.
I was saying while we were off the phone, it feels like we're planning for the future, where I think we thought we were in a Super Bowl window, but now we're drafting like replacements for Jayon Brown and Rashawn Evans and Taylor Lewan instead of drafting players that might actually do something this season.
I mean, honestly, the Caleb Farley and the tackle make a little bit of sense to an extent because we don't have a good, solid right tackle, especially after letting Kelly go. I'm just hoping that they've got some kind of free agency plan that obviously we're not privy to, whether it's Julio or something. I don't know.
I thought Caleb Farley was a good pick yesterday. I thought, given they felt good about, Simmons, and that turned out well. The medical staff probably, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt on Farley. But now everything since then, I'm like, everything just seems like it sucks now. Now I think Farley sucks just because all the other picks have sucked.
Well, the Monty Rice pick is weird because he's more of a run player, and it seems like with all the problems that we've had with passing, you'd want better coverage linebackers. And I know Jayon Brown's a good coverage linebacker, but still that seems to be like the way the league's going is your linebackers have to be able to cover people. And that's not this dude's strong suit. So, and there's a couple of guys still left in the draft who would have been good coverage choices. And we don't have good luck with picks from Georgia.
I know. That was the cornerback from Georgia that I think the Jaguars...
We drafted cornerback Elijah Molden.
Yeah, that's who we got?
Yes.
Cornerback
Elijah Molden.
Oh my God. So...
What the fuck?
There it is.
What the fuck?
I mean, they have to have some kind of plan. There's no way they're just avoiding the skill positions.
Like, at this point, it's like they're trolling everybody.
Like, the thing everybody said is, like, the Julio trade can't happen until after June 1st. Because that's when the cap implications work out for the Falcons to trade him.
Right.
I mean, there's no way they're just passing on every possible receiver, tight end, without having some kind of idea. Like, Cameron Batson is probably having a draft party tonight and celebrating like crazy.
Nick Westbrook Inky, whatever his name is probably having a good old time.
He was the one I was trying to think of earlier. There was like Buck Rising had a thing during free agency where he like tweeted out it kind of casually and like wasn't that big a deal at the time that like the team was really high on that dude, and like he's like, I'm not saying they're planning on him being the number 2 wide receiver, but they really like him. And it feels like now that we're seeing it, they really do like him.
Well, I liked Elijah Molden, and I had him. There were a couple drafts where I picked him as our cornerback. He seems to be more of a safety slot cornerback. So I guess I definitely thought we would take 2 cornerbacks in the draft. I just didn't think we would take them this early before we answer the wide receiver. So I actually had us taking Elijah Molden as a second a couple of times, but it was after a wide receiver.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, maybe they're just like going to, like, you know, Fisher used to always say back in the day they didn't ever draft anything but the best player that was on the board. That was 100%. Like, I don't think that was true. I think that was just like a thing he said, but like that almost feels like what they're doing in this draft is whoever their top guy on the board is, regardless of position, they're taking him.
Which, like, I mean, I guess technically Robinson said he would do in the pre-draft interviews, but Jesus Christ, like, not one person that can catch a football.
But I mean, that's the thing is, like, if you're the Chiefs, if you're the Buccaneers, I don't know, maybe the Saints, where you have a pretty loaded roster.
Oh yeah, the Bucs should always, obviously take the best player.
But we don't have there's no scenario where you can convince me we have a number 2 wide receiver on our roster right now.
No. We don't even have a number 3.
Like, Molden might, like, we've got now, like, 8 cornerbacks. I don't even know if he's going to, like, actually play on defense. He might just be a special teams player.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, Breon Borders isn't a bad fill-in.
We got Janoris Jenkins. We got, you know, Kristen Fulton, who...
We don't know what he is at this point.
We signed somebody who I think is a made-up player named Kevin Johnson from the Browns. I don't even know if that's a real person. That could be a fake person that just, like, the team fake put out there to make people happy. But I feel like we've got 8 cornerbacks now, and we definitely don't have a second wide receiver. Like I was saying before I called you, I think the tight ends we have, they're not great. We're not going to, like, have a playmaker like Jonnu, but I mean, we can get by with Ferkser, Swaim.
Well, did we sign the big one to me? Did we re-sign Michael Pruitt, or did he go somewhere else?
I think so. I think we brought back the whole group except for Jonnu.
I thought maybe Michael Pruitt had signed somewhere else.
I don't know. But I feel like the tight end group is, like, we don't have, like, a game breaker or a game changer like Jonnu, but that's a group you can get by with if you just have, like, solid players who can get by.
But honestly, with the way our offense works, that's not going to work. Like, if we don't have people that can catch the football, then everybody's just going to crowd the box, and then Derrick Henry's going to get stuffed if there's no threat of the penalty.
That's my thing. The tight end group would have been fine if we had brought in another wide receiver. But right now, like, if I was a defensive coordinator playing against us, I would just be like, we're only going to guard A.J. Brown. I don't care what anybody else is, whoever else is in the field. We'll put
2 guys on A.J. Brown, and then everybody else stack the box.
No, put 6 DBs on A.J. Brown, and then 5 players in the box for Derrick Henry. Don't even pay attention to whoever else is in the field. Don't even put a corner on Cameron Batson. He probably can't get open.
And if he catches it, it'll just drop.
Yeah, he'll just drop it. That's the other thing, is there's no proven track record of actually being able to catch the ball.
Oh God, I gotta go get on Twitter because I bet they're ready to burn shit down right now.
I mean, it felt like, because I was trying to keep up with it, but, like, draft night is, like, the craziest night for Twitter because it just keeps going so fast. But it definitely seemed like each pick we made, or when we traded back, there was like, oh, they must like this player, they must like this player, they must like this player. And then we just kept taking people that nobody was talking about. And we did not take a wide receiver, we did not take a tight end. I'm surprised we didn't take a running back.
Oh, God.
Like, that's the thing, it's like, I know you hate Aaron Rodgers, but every time they've been talking about how, like, disgruntled he is, and I'm like, he's got Devontae Adams. Like, he's not like some poor dude who's got nobody to throw to. Like,
but who does he have outside of Devontae Adams?
I mean, Brady had nobody. He had Randy Moss one year, and every other year Brady had, like, nobody to throw to.
Yeah, he always had some scrub slot receiver, and then
like Belichick was giving him like converted lacrosse players as wide receivers, and they were winning Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers is unhappy because he's got like maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL as his number one, and then like nobody else. It's like cry me a river. It's like,
yeah,
it's like I texted you. Ryan Tannehill should demand a trade. Send him back to Miami. We'll take Tua.
Jeez. All right, man. I'm gonna hop off.
All right. Thank you for your commentary and support.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Oh, man. So, as you can hear, not a great night for the Titans. At least it seems on paper. Obviously, once the players get on the field, it could be totally different. But, I mean, I do not feel like we've improved the roster with this draft. I feel like we've added some depth. But I don't look at any of the players that we've drafted so far and say that's a player who's going to come in and make an impact on the team. Which is what a team that's wanting to push forward and be a Super Bowl contender should be doing with their draft picks, you know? And, you know, the players you want don't necessarily fall to you. Who's to say? But as things stand, we got A.J. Brown and Josh Reynolds, who was like the 5th wide receiver for the Rams, as our top wide receivers. Not great, Bob. Should I end the stream, Oli? Oli says I need to end the stream on that note. Titans don't have any more picks today. The picks they had didn't excite me. I was hoping we'd draft somebody really cool and you'd get like a nice, like, genuine reaction to me, like being really excited about somebody cool that we drafted, but it ended up being just me kind of pausing, looking around, being like, really? That guy? Shrugging in sign, so. Disappointing draft.